Tarkovsky was very, very clear why he made films. So for him, what art really represented is basically a yearning for the ideal. It was as simple as that. That was for him the basic and deepest purpose of being an artist, or rather, as an artist, his only calling and duty was to make films which somewhere shed some kind of light on the truth of human experience, basically in service of that goal for humanity, for people to actually move towards an ideal. So for him, art represents an ideal. What is an ideal is very simple. In a world which is full of suffering and moral turpitude and all of that, to actually move towards beauty, harmony, peace, love. At a very simple level, this is the reason Tarkovsky made films. Every age is marked by the search for truth. And however grim that truth, it still contributes to a country's moral health. Its recognition is a sign of a healthy time and can never be in contradiction with the moral idea. Attempts to hide the truth, cover it, keep it secret, artificially setting it against a distorted moral ideal on the assumption that the latter will be repudiated in the eyes of the majority by the impartial truth, can only mean that ideological interests have been substituted for aesthetic criteria. Only a faithful statement about the artist's time can express a true, as opposed to a propagandist, moral ideal. The crux of the question is that the artist cannot express the moral ideal of his time unless he touches all its running sores, unless he suffers and lives those sores himself. That is how art triumphs over grim, base truth, clearly recognizing it for what it is, in the name of its own sublime purpose, which is its destined role. So he's talking about art. For art could almost be said to be religious, in that it is inspired by a commitment to a higher goal. Devoid of spirituality, art carries its own tragedy within it. For even to recognize the spiritual vacuum of the times in which he lives, the artist must have specific qualities of wisdom and understanding. The true artist always serves immortality, striving to immortalize the world and the man within the world. An artist who doesn't try to seek out absolute truth, who ignores the universal goals for the sake of accidentals, can only be a time server. So that's the reason that Tarkovsky made films. So it almost follows that the theme running through pretty much all of his work is a theme of suffering, moral dilemmas, redemption, innocence, striving for redemption, and very often the heroes, though it's an inappropriate term to use in the context of Tarkovsky's films, but the heroes of his films, if one would say that, are often those who may be confused, who may be weak, but who are somewhere striving. Somebody who is a seeker, or in some cases even people who are not that, but who recognize their own weakness and are tormented by it. So even they could be construed to be the so-called the heroes of his work.
Как твое имя, отчество и фамилия?
Меня зовут Жарис Юрий.